champion.
Welcome to Miami. Bienvenidos a Miami. We are ready for another Combate Global. Massive action coming your way. Mucho más acción, as we like to say. And the prelims will kick us off, and they always do, and leave us with so much to talk about that'll lead to our main card and our main event inside La Jaula, which is ready to hit the town, ready to hit South Beach. Looking clean. Won't be clean all night, I promise you. And I know that's why a lot of you are here. One of the best nights in sports, Friday night with Combate Global. You're in the right place. This is the main card in the 145-pound weight division. Justin Vazquez looks to get in the top 10. He has top 10 credentials. Jair Perez at number 3 awaits the challenge, hoping to move further up. Martin Davila, Michael Reyes was a main event a few weeks ago. That fight had to be postponed due to the health protocols. It's back on now. Carlos Mascorro and Maximiliano Gonzalez in the bantamweight featured bout. It is tremendous. You're gonna have to wait a little bit, but we'll keep you entertained between now and then. We're gonna get it going right now in the lightweight division. Geralbert Castillo, based out of Miami. Richie Palomino, based out of Orange County, ready to do battle. And we start only one way, with Lupe Contreras.
Entrando a la jaula, Geralbert Castillo.
Geralbert Castillo with the Young Tigers Foundation. 32-year-old was an amateur success story at 155. Back in Cuba, his home country, was an accountant, or he studied accounting. Now he's dedicated to the fight game, and what an opportunity here for this man to show that he can make some noise in a very, very competitive division.
I know him very well. When he came from Cuba here in the United States, I sparred with him. I was one of the first to spar with him in the Young Tigers Foundation. Great stand-up, great boxing. This is his big opportunity here. Just make sure to keep those hands up and just let those hands go.
What a beautiful flag, la bandera cubana. Back to Lupe.
Su oponente, Richie Palomino.
Richie Palomino is a big deal in Santa Ana, California, a fighting town there in SoCal down in Orange County. And Palomino's been at it for a long time. Certainly adept in Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, training with Colin Oyama and Team Oyama. And now with the Mexican flag and also with the United States in his corner, a big opportunity to show that all the work he's done is going to pay off.
It's the second time we see him inside La Jaula. Last time he got the short end of the stick, got a defeat. However, he was very impressive with those hands. I think that's going to really be the advantage for him in this fight against Geralbert, going inside La Jaula. Very crisp boxing from this young man.
The head-to-head, or as we like to call it, cara a cara, both fighters in their young 30s, 1-inch height advantage for Palomino, big reach advantage. We are at the lightweight division. Richie Palomino coming in over the limit, so he'll have to concede some of the purse. Now he's focused on the fight. We're focused on getting you to La Jaula and Lupe Contreras.
Este duelo, 3 vueltas, división peso ligero, this bout 3 rounds. In the lightweight division, los jueces son, the judges are Dorian Mirasola, Richard Green Jr. y Byron Sellers. Presentando en la esquina azul, vestido de rojo, presenting the blue corner, wearing red. Marcó un peso oficial de 155 libras y media on the scale. He registered an official weight of 155.5 pounds. En su octavo combate, con 4 victorias y 3 derrotas in his 8th pro bout, with 4 victories against 3 losses. De sangre cubana, and fighting out of Miami, Florida, Geralbert Wolverine Castillo. En la esquina roja, vestido de blanco, in the red corner, wearing white, su peso oficial, 158 libras y un cuarto, his official weight, 158.25 pounds. En su noveno combate, con 5 victorias y 3 derrotas, he enters la jaula for the 9th time as a professional, with 5 victories against 3 losses. Fighting out of Orange County, California, Richie Palomino. El referee, Alana Vélez.
All right, I gave you guys the instructions in the locker room. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. If you want to touch them up, go ahead. Come out, fight. Judge. Judge. Judge.
Alana Velez, the third inside La Jaula. We're ready to kick off the evening of fights.
Fight, are you ready?
Geralbert, Castillo. Richie Palomino in the lightweight division, round one. It is Palomino in the all-white.
One thing I tell you about Max Geralbert showing off his boxing right from the start, but Palomino does have that edge there for Geralbert. Use that wrestling, use that flashiness, those kicks. That's what's going to benefit you. Always keep your hands up. Don't want to test that chin. Don't want to let that chin expose. As for Richie, the last time we saw him, very competitive, great boxing. That will work to his advantage. Work the body of Geralbert.
Palomino, a decorated amateur, 7-1. Been training for 7 years, hard hands. As he comes into this fight, as Rodolfo pointed out, one fight in Combate, that was April of this year, losing to Hugo Flores. Prior to that, he had won 4 straight, and he had won most of them, 3 of the 4, with submissions.
And Palomino had a great fight. I know he ended up losing that fight, but Flores is no slouch. This is a guy who trains with some top dudes and dudettes. And
not a word.
He sure is, back in the 80s or 90s.
Dudettes.
But he was very impressive with that strike, and there it is.
Oh,
overhand and right.
Got swept though, and now an armbar attempt. He went right into it, but now he's able to pull away, drops that knee onto the neck of Castillo.
Geralbert needs to get up to this position here, transition. Remember, he does have that the 3-pound there. That makes a difference, Max. Believe it or not, those 3
you can
pounds
see
make
it too.
A difference. Remember, that's the day they weighed in. Today they're weighing just a little bit more. Makes a big difference. People think that, oh, it's just 3 pounds. It makes a huge difference. That's why when you see fighters like, well, that's not right. Well, they have a reason to protest.
But he looks the much bigger fighter across the board as they exchange blows. Geralbert, heavy exchange of punches.
Yeah, Geralbert needs to shoot, throw those hands, work the body, but get out. Because Palomino will come. He will exchange with you. He's not going to back down. Great wrestling takedown, right, to get that position. Palomino does have a guillotine there. They can't see it from this angle if he has it locked in, but he's surely working for it.
His last victory was via guillotine, so he is very adept. And it has been Castillo, the most active fighter without question, but the best blow has been struck by Palomino, which dropped Castillo.
Yeah, Palomino needs to be careful with those elbows. He nearly connected the top of the head of Geralbert.
Still erring on the side of danger for sure. Trying to set up an armbar. Castillo slips out.
Needs a transition. Yep, right here. Maybe knee to the thigh area or the hamstring. Yeah, to break him down.
You see very precise boxing. Uppercut there by Castillo.
Geralbert took some time away from, to throw that elbow, took some time away from fighting, focus on family, had a baby. His wife had a baby.
It's tough, and we know the plight of the Cuban athlete in the United States, and we all hope, as a Cuban American myself, that things will change. Maybe they will, but right now he has left his family. Most of them are here. There is one daughter who still lives in Cuba. The good news, they're expecting her to come to the United States soon, but how could you know as a parent? And what is that like going to bed every night?
Changes you, especially if you have a newborn, adapting to that schedule, waking up in the middle of the night. And as a fighter, I mean, if your baby wakes up at 4 in the morning, you might as well just start training, right? Great takedown there from Geralbert.
So ladies, marry a fighter, because if they get up at 4, they'll do all the bathing. They'll change the diapers. You can stay in bed. Into side control here. Castillo has been impressive, but he leaves himself open as he did there again.
Yeah, but great transition from Palomino, though. Every time that he's been taken down, quickly finds a way to get out of that position. Geralbert calling Palomino stand up, uppercut attempt.
It was a massive uppercut. It whizzed by the front of the face of Castillo.
Now Geralbert backing down instead of coming in. They were using that jab.
Both jabs connecting. Exchange of kicks. 2-3 for 1 for Castillo. 30 seconds to go in the opening round. Uppercut.
Both attempted a flying knee.
Closing the gap.
And that stand-up game is there. Eric Castaño, a kickboxing champion. He preaches on that. Trust me, he coached me for some time, so he is hard on those combinations.
Settle in there. We're going to head to the end of this first round. One big drop, though, for Castillo to get to the judges' good graces. So a nice start here for Castillo, who 32 years of age, still just getting his fight career off and running, coming off a couple defeats. The man they call Wolverine.
Great stuff from previous fights. I see that he's letting them hands go. He's not being cautious. You hear there the coach telling him, throw that jab. He says he's very feel confident that he won that round. We'll find out because we do have the open scoring. Let's take a look at the side here, Palomino's corner.
We are now ready here for round two. Palomino has been the counterpuncher. Then again, he waits to take a few blows, throws one over the top.
He's letting them hands go. Geralbert is very confident with his boxing. Great stuff. Improved, I'll tell you this much.
Just a little feeler there for Palomino to gauge the distance. As he comes in, he gets caught.
Now Palomino working that body to bring Geralbert down, get those hands down, force him to hit the head.
Castillo's just so much better in the stand-up game, but Palomino, so good submission. He just needs to get a hold of his opponent. Hasn't been able to do it just yet.
He's fighting for that opening, Max, where he can land a knee or something that's going to bring down Palomino and just lay a flurry of punches.
We talked about Castillo, who's 4-3, coming off back-to-back losses. Back in 2018, he did beat Christopher Boasso, who we saw here a couple of weeks ago, and was really impressive.
And look at the open scoring there, Max. Rightfully so, Eric Castaño. Geralbert's corner was right. Winning that first round.
Another uppercut. Castillo's gone to the well, but he keeps getting water. Palomino trying to change levels.
Yeah,
seemed to work there.
Geralbert did an excellent job with that boxing. Real good stuff from this young man. Great jab. Forcing him to come in, forcing him to counter. Good footwork too as well. So he just sets it up there, 1-1 to set him up.
Leg caught, drop there. Castillo gets the back of Palomino.
Maybe softening him up so he can land some sort of submission, maybe another plex.
But this is where Palomino can be dangerous too.
That's right. And he's using that howler there to help him position himself. That's what Geralbert is forcing him to try to take him to the center of La Jaula. So now we're going to go right back to that stand-up where Geralbert has had that advantage in the stand-up game.
Got Florida versus California here. Geralbert Castillo also representing Cuba. Single leg for Palomino's got a good hold of it.
You know, I'm curious to know, Max.
Drops him.
Palomino came in, what, 3 pounds over? How much of an effort did it cost him to lose? How much did he weigh in? Because the first time we saw him against Flores, I saw him more fast-paced. He's looking at there for an armbar. I don't see Palomino too crisp of his boxing compared to last time against Flores.
It's not. He's waiting for those opportunities where he can draw Castillo in. And I think Castillo's seen most of these punches come.
They're coming slow pace. Last time around, he was a lot more faster, more aggressive. But he's just waiting for it instead of being the person to push the accelerator.
Castillo, not a completely convincing takedown attempt. Got Palomino able to flush him. Back to the center of the jaula. There's a better kick from Palomino. Fighting out of Santa Ana. Wants to make Santa Ana a destination for mixed martial arts. Wants to start a gym down there.
It almost seems like Geralbert or Castillo's game plan is just to wear him out and just find that good opportunity and just, you know, get that victory by way of TKO. Because he keeps using that jab. Very effective, even threw in a hook. He's been using it all day. Keeps on using it to set it up.
Another telegraphed takedown attempt, and now a good crank for Palomino on this guillotine. He lets it go. We knew he didn't have it, but he gets a little haymaker on the way out. Much better from Palomino here.
Palomino did throw that jab and that kick right to the thigh area. Castillo, though, being persistent, though, telling him to come.
Oh, big kick there by Castillo. Follows it up with a jab. You can hear the Castillo corner, very vocal.
Castillo's just banking on that overhand right if he can find one.
Wow, Castillo not really defending himself here.
Now he does have those elbows up, Max. They're not connecting. It just looks flashy. But yes, it'll look good for the ref. I mean, for the judges.
Some got underneath the guard, but certainly nothing on the face. Who knows what Palomino's up to, trying to get some wrist control here. Final seconds of round 2. Much better from Palomino. Was it good enough for him to win the round? Don't know. We'll find out soon. And just like the first round, Castillo with a calling card. He's dragging a bit there, Rodolfo. You can see the extra weight.
If you look at Castillo and Palomino, the way they got up at the end of that round, you could just tell here Palomino's exhausted. Let's take a look at the action for the second round. Castillo on the ground game. That jab has been there all day long. He's been connecting with it, having some fun with it, following it up with some crosses as well. And then the wrestling for Castillo has been on point. Here, he nearly got caught in a guillotine choke, but no, it wasn't this time. Palomino landing in those knees. Maybe one of them got through, but Castillo was very potent in keeping up that guard and protecting himself.
Back here for round 3, we'll get the official scoring. We'll find out soon enough how aggressive Palomino has to be. He is looking heavy, though, literally and figuratively, in the way his body language appeared at the end of round 2.
Well, Castillo, they just did that close-up shot. He's very confident in this fight that he's winning. He went down to the bread and butter here, the wrestling, where he's had much success with the takedowns. But you got to do something, right? We've had this conversation. You can take your opponent 6-7 times in a round, but what did you do with it? And there he is. He is working those shots, trying to break down Palomino. He now transitioned and got himself on his feet.
Palomino 5-3, including 4 wins in his last 5. 0-1 in Combate, though. Castillo, he had back-to-back defeats. They both were via unanimous decision, and he has won both rounds according to the judges, officially.
Castillo can't be overconfident, though. He can't just put the cruise control here. He can't go on neutral. He has to make sure that he keeps consistent, because Palomino is just waiting for an opportunity for a chance, so he can't fall asleep. The fight's not over.
Palomino knows he needs to have that big moment. Has to set up a submission attempt. In those victories he had via submission, he won via Kimura, he won via armbar, he won via guillotine. So it can come from a variety of ways.
Great single leg takedown. Putting in that shoulder. Now Palomino just hanging on to prevent it. He surely did defend that quite well.
Something tells me, Rodolfo, Palomino's gonna have a moment here. A moment where he can be in a position to stem the tide and turn the tide.
Well, look how Palomino changes the level with the jab. He'll work the body. And that's what he's waiting to connect with, a heavy jab, so that he can follow up maybe with an overhand, maybe some of the kicks to break him down. But he's looking to take him down, but he doesn't have much time left.
Castillo's left some openings. Certainly Castillo has to know from his corner he won those 2 rounds.
Yeah, he feels confident. Right now, he's moving around, angling Palomino, using the jab to push him away.
Big overhand right. Palomino starting to close the gap. He has taken the center of the outlet. He's been aggressive.
He again denies the takedown, and maybe this is the moment. He's cranking.
He needs to grab that wrist, that break it.
Oh, he's got it underneath.
No, he lost it. Remember, there's a lot of sweat. We're in the third round, Max. It's a little difficult at this point.
Castillo can't put himself in that situation.
Nope. Again, he has to be cautious. He can't be too confident. He needs to keep doing what he's been doing with that jab, working the body. Go for those takedowns, but be cautious because Palomino is looking to get that submission one way or another. He understands that he's down in the count for this fight.
It's been a good response in the third round from a fighter who has to be tired. Remember that big reach advantage when we showed you the cara a cara. He's using it now. Castillo's there throwing with him. Minute 40 to go. Final round.
Castillo's doing well, forcing Palomino to come in, and as soon as he comes in, he's met with a jab or that right.
Oh,
calf kick. Oh, spinning elbow. Another attempt to a calf kick by Palomino. Great jab work from Castillo. They always say it, if you have that good jab, it's the world for you. That jab makes a huge difference in a fight game.
Little jab there.
Down to the wire, Max. If Palomino wants something, this is his opportunity. He has to throw that Hail Mary. This right here, the will suck win from Palomino in that clinch. Oh, he got caught with that right. You hear Castillo's corner, close the fight, close the fight. He went for the feint and then eventually landed that jab. Another feint, one jab all day. That's the difference in this fight, Max. That's what made Castillo victorious, I believe. Of course, it's now, as we're headed to the end of the round, it'll be up to the judges, but that jab made a huge difference for Castillo's game plan.
Well, Palomino may win this third round, but unfortunately it won't win him the fight after Castillo was able to get into his rhythms. We'll see, we'll see. A lot of respect there between these two fighters. And will it be Castillo getting his first victory in Combate in his first attempt? We'll be back to get the official announcement from Lupe Contreras upon our return.
Mi nombre es Martín Davila, mi edad es 36 años y soy de Herndon, Virginia y vivo acá en Miami, Florida. En la guerra de Irak estuve ahí en 2006 y 2007, jovencito de 20 años. Cuando regresé todavía tenía cosas en mi mente, en mi espíritu de la guerra, pero como todas cosas pasan, tienes que pasarlo y es un proceso y eso te lleva más seguro de tu vida, o sea, te cambia para ser más fuerte. De mi contrario, Michael Reyes sé que es un luchador, un peleador que siempre está tirando su golpe en volumen. Yo también voy a estar en su cara, yo también voy a tirar mis golpes, yo también voy a luchar y estamos preparados para la batalla, estamos ahí. Yo siempre he tenido un espíritu de peleador, de guerrero. Mi mamá me contaba desde chiquito y también yo me acuerdo en el colegio. No me gustaba cuando gente se portaba mal conmigo, pero también mi mamá me puso en artes marciales, en taekwondo de niño. Cuando llegué ahí me encantó y yo sabía que eso era para mí. Aquí ves, sé que vas a estar en mi cara, pero yo también voy a estar en tu cara. Vamos a dar un show, un espectáculo para la gente que nos está viendo. Que Dios te bendiga, campeón.
We are back, and Geralbert Castillo looks poised to be receiving some good news. Let's see if it is. Cholupe.
Los jueces Byron Sellers y Richard Green Jr. entregan tarjetas idénticas de 30 a 27. Judges Sellers and Green Jr. turn identical scores of 30 to 27. Y el juez Mirasola anotó 29 a 28. Judge Mirasola scores it 29 to 28. All in favor of the winner by way of unanimous decision. Los tres a favor del vencedor por decisión unánime. the Wolverine, Geralbert Castillo.
That's a good name fighter to beat. Still some work to do for Castillo. You can see he's raw, even though he's 32. But that's an important win for him.
What's very impressed here is that jab, that crisp boxing improved a lot. And I got a kick of watching Eric Castaño, man. You could have sworn that he won the fight. I mean, he's always excited. A lot of enthusiasm for his fighter, especially when a victory comes along the way.
Cuba versus Mexico, Florida versus California. And Castillo had a really good opening round. That set the tempo, that opened the gap, and it forced Palomino, who got tired as the fight wore on, to play catch-up.
Yeah, he came over those 3 pounds. That could probably play a role. We don't know how much weight he was cutting prior to that, but Castillo with the takedown here, the jab, that was what really turned the page in this fight. That's what made the fight for Castillo, is that jab. Palomino reaching for desperate measures, perhaps landing a guillotine, but Castillo just wasn't having any of it. The exchange there, elbows from Palomino, but Castillo keeping up those hands, protecting himself. But it was there it is, 1, 2 straight jabs. That is what made the difference in this fight, to keep Palomino away and just work him out.
Stats, big edge in the punches, used the jab very well, did Geralbert Castillo. Palomino with those takedowns, he was down a lot. Although you can see how many attempts on the takedowns. That was a story here. It was just volume for Castillo, and that's what led him to win the fight, getting it 30-27 according to 2 judges. There, they gotta doll up the jaula. No, well, we get ready. When we return, Bryan Mcdowell, Victor Valenzuela, next up inside the jaula. Combate Global. The Causeway's in Miami, connecting Miami to Miami Beach. You've got to learn a lot about Miami as you tune into Combate Global. Great to see us on Paramount Plus. Also great to see us popping up on CBS Sports Network. And now it's going to be Bryan Mcdowell from Marysville, Kentucky, and Victor Valenzuela, Psicosis, from the fighting town of Santiago, Chile. Let's go to Lupe Contreras.
Entrando a la jaula, Bryan Mcdowell.
Bryan Mcdowell's second fight here in Combate Global. He fought Marcos Lloreda. That was at 170 pounds. And now fighting again at the welterweight, coming back here. That one went to decision, a unanimous defeat.
Man, right here, Mcdowell training with a Warrior Cramp up in Spokane, Washington. See in the corner there, Pablo Alfonso has improved a lot since the last time we saw him inside La Jaula. Just look for his striking. The improvement there is there. You will see it tonight.
Now his opponent.
Su contrario, Victor Valenzuela.
Seems like every week we have 1, if not 2 Chileans on the card, and they have been more successful than not. It is growing there. There's no doubt about it. This is a man who also is returning to the jaula in Combate. He beat Fernando Calvo via unanimous decision back in June. So 1-0 here, 7-3 in total. He's proven he can win in Chile. He's proven he can win in the big leagues.
A long history, and it comes to the stand-up game with the kickboxing. I had much success with that martial art. Now training with the MMA Masters. You can see alongside in the corner Adir Terry, who has competed here inside La Jaula. Looking forward to this bout.
Head-to-head, cara a cara. Both just getting started. Mcdowell 27, Valenzuela 28. Huge height advantage for Mcdowell. That was promised for Lloreda before the fight got away from him. And he has a 5-inch reach advantage. Both make weight at 170. A division Combate is looking to develop. There's a lot of talent. We'll see if it's in the shape of these 2 fighters. Let's go to Lupe Contreras for the officials.
Continuamos con mucha más acción. 3 vueltas, división peso welter. We continue with much more action. 3 rounds. Welterweight division, los jueces son Eliseo Rodríguez, Dorian Mirasola y Richard Green Jr. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, llegó el momento de un combate. Combate Global. Presentando la esquina azul, vestido de azul, presenting the blue corner, wearing blue. Sobre la báscula, marcó un peso oficial de 169 libras y un cuarto. On the scale, he registered an official 169 1/4 pounds. A nivel profesional, mantiene un récord de 6 victorias y 5 derrotas as a professional. He maintains a record of 6 victories against 5 losses. From Maysville, Kentucky, and now fighting out of Spokane, Washington, the Iceman, Bryan Mcdowell. Su oponente en la esquina roja, vestido de blanco, his opponent in the red corner, wearing white. Su peso oficial, 170 libras, his official weight, 170 pounds. En 10 combates, mantiene un récord de 7 victorias y 3 derrotas. In 10 professional bouts, he maintains a record of 7 victories against 3 losses. Representando a Santiago de Chile, Víctor Psycho Valenzuela. El referee, Marcos Perez.
Marcos Perez, the third inside La Jaula.
Para here. Okay, so you went over the rules. I want a clean fight. Okay? Okay? Okay, so touch the cloth if you want. Go to the corner.
Victor Valenzuela.
You ready? Are you ready? Fight.
Bryan Mcdowell. He looked pretty good in that defeat to Marcos Lloret. He started well, but it caught up to him, took the defeat.
And since then, he's improved a lot. So look for his great stand-up. He's changed a lot. Big-time improvement. This guy's a tough fighter, so he'll take anything and everything and come right back at you. Look for the good clinch work as well. What's going to benefit him is use that jab to keep away Valenzuela. Remember, he is the taller of the two as for Valenzuela. Work the body, maybe some calf kicks to bring down McDowell to your level.
Bryan Mcdowell is a guy, you've heard of them in the past. They'll take a fight anytime, anywhere. That Marcos Lloret fight was June of last year. He has fought 4 times since. This is his 4th fight in 2022. He'll come in, he's a good opponent. I mean, maybe he should prepare for fights, he would like to prepare for fights a little bit more, but these opportunities come up, he'll seize them.
Some guys are just ready to go. Just give them a call and they're just, set me up, coach. I'm ready to rock. Put on the gloves. Remember, these guys stay busy throughout the time.
Yeah, we mentioned how Santiago de Chile is a big fight town. What about Spokane?
We're seeing a lot of great fighters coming from that area and that warrior camp. Oh, great jab from McDowell.
And he moved out of the overhand attempt by Valenzuela. McDowell in blue. You can see the size edge. He's using it.
Yeah, Valenzuela is a more patient fighter. He waits for the opportunity, unlike McDowell, who's being the aggressor here. Valenzuela needs to find a way to get in there, cut McDowell, work the body. Remember, he does have that disadvantage when it comes to the height. So you're gonna have to get hit, but when you do, make sure you follow up with more than what you get hit. Lots of feints to throw him off. And many people think, Max, that if you do have that height advantage, you come in as the person ahead. That's not necessarily right. When you're the taller fighter, remember, you have to get low, you have to crunch down. And that in itself is exhausting and frustrating at times.
Well, that's good. Valenzuela, straight right, connects into the body of McDowell.
Great
Still
elbow.
plugging away.
Valenzuela, a stockier fighter, by the way. Got a lot of power in those punches.
Valenzuela,
we got
that one
Max.
caught him. McDowell has to get out. Did have a little damage, but took some to give some.
And McDowell just really crisp boxing, using that reach, sets it up with that jab and follow up with great hooks.
Valenzuela, black belt in kickboxing. You're seeing some of that prowess on display. Brown belt in karate. Karate's where he started his training. Also a brown in jiu-jitsu, but looks like the kickboxing and just the boxing in general is going to seize the day for Valenzuela. Left himself open for a second.
Valenzuela looked very cautious. He knows the power in the McDowell packs. Near the corner of Valenzuela to go to the left. That's the work of the angles.
Oh, that hurt him. Right. Valenzuela looking to fire up. Right hand into his body now because it was exposed.
I think did the mouthpiece fly off?
I haven't heard a stop.
No, there it is. There it is.
Stop.
There it is. Man, I'm telling you, it flew. That right hand just. But Mcdowell is a tough fighter. This guy could take punches to the moon, and he'll be right back there. It's gonna take a lot to knock this man down.
McDowell, a big deal in Kentucky MMA. Obviously, Kentucky is not on the same level of Florida, California. Had 3 amateur titles there. Been training for 10 years. He's a good fighter. It's a matchup issue, although Valenzuela's handling it pretty well thus far. McDowell comes into it, known as the Iceman, with a fighting record of 5-5. Oh. You know, his daughter is in Kentucky, tuning it in. He doesn't get to see his daughter a lot, speaking of McDowell, as he is training in Spokane.
What Valenzuela's doing is Mcdowell, as he throws in that jab, he's waiting for that opening, that left hand of McDowell waiting for that opportunity so he can put it down and Valenzuela clock him with a right hook. Any mistake here could be deadly for McDowell. He needs to keep those hands up at all times. It's changing there.
15 seconds in round 1. We're gonna get a round 2. Good straight left and a kick to follow up from McDowell. And a little baile. We're going to round 2. First round, certainly in Valenzuela's favor, but enough there from McDowell to suggest he is still in this. I think his corner sensed that as well.
Take a look at the highlights. Deep from McDowell to kick it off. And then just look at the action with that jab. More jab action. Valenzuela, though, patient with that overhand right. Blocking McDowell. McDowell with a kick here in exchange. And both men connected with each other. But they're both back in the game. Overhand right again. Then knocked the mouthpiece of McDowell. Cornering him in the clinch. He came right back. Followed through with that boxing. He missed that kick. Ready for the second round.
Round 2. Getting ready now for Bryan Mcdowell and Victor Valenzuela. We'll get the official scoring of round 1. Glad you could join us here. Special Labor Day weekend Combate Global. Max Pretos, Rodolfo Roman, bringing you all the action. McDowell in blue takes the center of the jaula.
He's trying to get some clinch work there to land some knees on Valenzuela to break him down. Another low kick to the thigh area. Oh! Inside kick. That dropped McDowell. McDowell back in the game though. Straight cross.
You see a McDowell saying, get him against the cage.
Yeah.
Didn't really listen to him.
Right.
Or maybe he tried. It's easier said than done.
Oh, good footwork.
Put him against the cage again from.
As soon as he feels that that cage is nearing, he backs away, moves to the angles.
Pablo Alfonso and CJ Phillips in his corner. Speaking of McDowell.
Ironically enough, Max, some trivia here, right? Pablo Alfonso used to train with the MMA Masters, and the MMA Masters is cornering Valenzuela tonight. And now Alfonso opened up that camp up in Spokane, Washington, as Valenzuela ends up taking that first round.
It is Valenzuela who gets the nod on all 3 judges.
Overhand right again from Valenzuela. Attempt faking it with the left to try to get McDowell's hands down. Sometimes it's all about that feint, Max. To throw your opponent off, to get him to do a mistake, finding that opening to get you that victory.
He's trying, McDowell, stepping into some lanes, trying to get closer. Little blood and swelling on the left eye of Valenzuela.
It's that jab. McDowell's been doing good stuff for that jab.
It's good output for McDowell.
Oh, be cautious there. Okay, with the back.
Seems like the corner of McDowell are optimistic.
No.
Switches up a bit.
And no takedown attempts here whatsoever. It's just a straight up stand-up fight.
And you've got, you've got to find a way to use that height advantage. I mean, there's moments where he does. There's other moments where he doesn't look as large as he gets caught in that exchange. Doesn't want to be in that area because Valenzuela is strong. Just look at those shoulders.
You're going to have to use a lot of feints. And
good left hand, McDowell.
There it is, and you're going to have to just crunch down a bit, kneel down a bit. You have to come down to Valenzuela's level.
Valenzuela.
That jab,
big kick on that lead leg.
That jab, I know he's going straight for the head, but try going to the body as well to bring him down.
Combination, McDowell, corner likes it. He has to win this round to give him a chance to win it via decision in round 3. Oh, big left hand, and McDowell stares him down.
McDowell gained some confidence after he connected that shot. Look at him. I'm telling you, this dude.
I'm invincible.
This dude is made out of iron.
He's got a great left hand. He's setting it up well. Again, there is where you use the length.
Also, that lead leg of Valenzuela is there. Why not attack that thigh area?
Yeah, it seems like McDowell Rodolfo's locked in on setting up the jab and coming in with that left hand.
But it's there for you, and if you were to throw that kick, follow it up with a flurry, punches.
Check that kick. Now McDowell, another left hand. Spark plug firing in all cylinders. Huge fight for McDowell. Coming off his first fight, the defeat to Marcos Guerrero. Wants to stay around Combate Global. Knows he has to piece some victories. Went and got some fights elsewhere since that fight. 2-2 in those fights. Valenzuela pushed him back, and now it's getting red on both cheeks.
Valenzuela's corner telling him to get some head movement.
Another good left. Oh, but the left hand from Valenzuela caught McDowell coming in.
And it is true because Valenzuela, when there's not much head movement. He's coming in, he attacks. And of course, he has to take the shots because of the height here disadvantage, but gotta use that head movement. Hence, that's why he's cut open already under the eyes.
20 seconds to go in round 2. McDowell from his corner, they said get in his face. He did that last time and he paid a price. Has to finish strong in this second round or Valenzuela can nip it here.
Max, you're absolutely right. He's calling in Valenzuela so he can meet that cross.
Good finish to round 2 and Valenzuela, man, he's got that cumbia down. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Well, we're gonna be very interested in seeing the scoring of round 2.
Have a little dance-off at the end of that round.
At the end of both rounds. Who knew the kid from Kentucky would outdance everybody?
You can break it down.
Here in Combate Global.
Let's take a look at the highlights for that second chapter of the fight. Great kick to the rib area, Valenzuela. Valenzuela felt that one. Listen into the corner. Your dear Terry, the cornerman, also a fighter. He's competed here in the side of La Jaula as well. Pablo Alfonso on the other end.
Okay, corners out. Corners out. Corners out.
Back here for round 2. The question is, did McDowell do enough to win the second round? Pardon me, for round 3. Did he do enough to win round 2? We will know the results. We'll know the results here shortly.
Valenzuela's right eye just swelled up, Max.
A lot of punches from McDowell. There's that left hand again.
Tons. And I'm interested to see how the judges scored that second round. It seems like McDowell just picked up the pace with those strikes.
Using the kicks now. Got to get active there because Valenzuela's catching him on the way in.
Well, he's using that team to keep Valenzuela off. Calf kick there. This could be trouble. It's the first time.
Leg by desperation. Oh, but those elbows catching McDowell on the temple. McDowell gets into the guard.
Great single leg there by McDowell. I mean, because it's here, maybe a triangle.
In and out. Valenzuela not wasting any time. Again, an armbar
again. Sit.
He tapped him. He tapped.
Wait.
Valenzuela did McDowell tap. He looked right at Marcos Perez. Said
McDowell looked. I don't get to see it from this angle here. different angle.
An incredible charge
Yeah,
from
no, he
Valenzuela.
knows it. Yeah, he tapped. He knows it.
Armbar.
He knows it. Wow.
Valenzuela
There it is.
improves to 8-3. Sigosis.
Tried to go with the submission, the arm, and then the arm bar.
He may have been a verbal tap, right?
Yeah, it was. No. He tapped right after, but yeah. It seems like it was a verbal, then he tapped right after, of course. It was just too quick. He caught it.
Just a second submission victory for Valenzuela.
Wow.
It came out of nowhere. Stand up all fight long.
Let's take a look at a different angle. Let's see. Let's look at. Yeah. He's saying a verbal tap, and then he tapped. Yep. He can't even believe it. It was just applied too quickly.
Great officiating there by Marcos Perez. It
Wow.
goes to show you, sometimes you can't see a tap. You got to listen. He was attentive, and who knows, probably saved Mcdowell from maybe a hospital visit tonight. We'll be back. Disappointing for him. Much more Combate to come.
El tiempo oficial, 58 segundos el tercero y último asalto, the official time. 58 seconds of the third and final round, your winner. By way of submission, el vencedor por sumisión, el Psycho, Víctor Valenzuela.
That's a nice record for Victor Valenzuela. 8-3, gets his second submission victory to go with 2 TKO wins. He is now 2-0 in Combate Global, and a guy to reckon with at 170 pounds. Another great moment for Chilean MMA. It's a losing count with all these Chilean fighters.
Man, we saw Valentina from Chile, Gallardo from Chile as well, Gloria Bravo, Barraza. It's a long list of Chileans.
I knew I asked the right guy when I asked Rodolfo to rattle off all the Chilean fighters. He knew them all.
Bahamondes is another
Quintana, they're there. So celebrate Chile, chi, le. You are an MMA factory. We'll be back, getting ready for the main card. Back here, waiting the next action in La Jaula as we kickstart hopefully a very exciting Labor Day weekend. It's the end of summer for many of you, depending on where you live. Kids are back at school. Did you have to do that? Some shopping for the kids?
Yes, I did.
Erasers and pencils?
The whole nine.
Wow.
Uniforms, the whole
been a
nine.
minute.
All right, well, I'll tell you this one, no shopping was being done here by Valenzuela. What he was shopping was for a submission, which he ended up getting that victory here tonight. Right from the start, Mcdowell's got clocked with that right hook that took the mouthpiece off Mcdowell's mouth, and that was in the clinch work. Valenzuela just very patient to find that opportunity. Low kick to the calf area that brought Mcdowell down, but it was right here. An exchange that rocked Mcdowell, but he came back. I mean, you can't take this man down. But it was right here where Valenzuela landed some shots. Mcdowell transitioned to a single leg. He brings him down. He tried to go for a mount, but was caught in this armbar submission. Very quickly tapped verbally. He knew that he was in trouble. It seemed like he just saw a ghost when he was caught with that armbar. Just look at that facial reaction, Max. He didn't know what hit him.
Was really nicely hooked in by Valenzuela. He didn't telegraph it. Had that extra leg in that first triangle attempt, which gave him incredible leverage. Mcdowell, you can see he did some damage on Valenzuela, but it wasn't enough.
It would have been preferable that fight would have been kept on standing for Mcdowell, but listen, it's the name of the game, MMA. Anything can happen in any position. Always have to protect yourself.
And it is Valenzuela who awaits for some bigger fights in the back end of 2022, and we'll see it. Welterweight's going to be an exciting development for sure. There's more fighters coming into Combate to compete in 170 pounds. Let's look back at our earlier fight, and it featured Geralbert, Castillo, and Richie Palomino.
Right here, Geralbert making his Combate Global debut. Palomino returning again, and it was the jab that made the difference in this fight. Castillo connecting numerous times with a left. Palomino did find some hope that maybe this fight would have been over with that transition, that episode there. However, it just wasn't enough. Castillo keeping up his guard, but it was that jab all day that kept Palomino away. The wrestling was there as well, but that was not the name of this fight. Crisp boxing from Castillo. Palomino in desperate times looking for a submission to get that victory, but it wasn't gonna happen. Castillo landing an uppercut and exchanging of the hands, which made the big difference here. Palomino again, he tried to just look for something that would finish this fight off for him. He looked quite exhausted. He came in 3 pounds heavy in this bout. Don't know how much he had to lose to get to this fight, but that made that difference. Midway through the fight, he looked pretty exhausted, especially after that first round. It took him some time to get up.
Palomino certainly looks like an accomplished fighter. Has to watch the weight there. We will see what's next for him in addition to Castillo. So we're coming your way, kicking off September in style with really 2 main events in one. Featherweight division, Jair Perez, he will take on Justin Vazquez, the number 3 featherweight, against a man who's on a rocket ship in Slick J. And also the flyweight matchup there with Michael Malicious Reyes, the number 1 flyweight, taking on Martin the Last Inca Davila. First up will be Carlos Mascorro and Maximiliano Gonzalez. Those 3 good fights.
Great, good fight. Both these dudes, all these dudes, are gonna bring it here today. And remember, the rankings, man. Victories are much needed, especially in this bout right here.
We will, in fact, start with our flyweight featured bout. Michael Reyes, will he still be number 1 when the smoke clears against Martin Davila? It's Combate Global.
Justin Snake J. Vazquez. I'm 30 years old from Miami, Florida. I'm definitely the type of fighter that uses hyper focus and hyper instincts, you know. I kind of just go in there and react. And when I see an opening or if I see them crumbling, then I could like slow it down and choose what to do. But usually it's me just reacting and taking advantage every chance I get. I am definitely my toughest critic. I always believe I can do better. Even when I win a flawless victory, I'm like, oh, I could have done this better. I could have punched a little faster or a little harder. So I'm always trying to just beat myself. You know, it's never really about who's in front of me. It's always the battle within me. In between rounds, when I'm speaking with my corner, it's really relaxed and calm. They're never really yelling at me or, you know, telling me to do stuff. It's more like, all right, you're doing good. Or like, oh, watch out for this, you know. In my corner, it's always chill mode, you know. And like, let's just get ready for the next round. Fighting a Mexican fighter, it doesn't affect the way I train. It doesn't affect my game plan. Because the way I train and my game plan is always gonna be the same. I'm just gonna go in there and be water. I'm always gonna treat the opponent in front of me the same way I treat every other opponent. Jair, prepárate. I'm coming for you, and I'm gonna hurt you.
We are in Miami as we kick off another Friday night main card coming your way. We're gonna have a lot of questions answered at 145 pounds, 135, and first up, 125. There is what the fighters will see. The walkout to La Jaula, looking clean. Ready to wear, prêt-à-porter. Thrilled that you could join us. We are always entertained, and we know you tune in for that exactly when you watch Combate Global here on Paramount Plus, and our partners in Español TUDN, Channel 5 Televisa in Mexico, worldwide audience, breaking all sorts of ground in the fight game. This is our card. It will culminate with the main event. Justin Slick J. Vazquez looking to get into the top 10 featherweights against the number 3 in the division, Jair Perez. Carlos Mascorro, a guy who never gets out of the first round, against Maximiliano Gonzalez. That'll be in the bantamweight division. And Martin Davila facing Michael Reyes. That'll start us off. Let's get ready for our featured flyweight contest.
Tú sabes que en el deporte hay que entrenar duro y tener disciplina, mucha disciplina. Yo estuve en los Marines casi 9 años. Lo más que me enseñó fue la disciplina. Mi nombre es Martín Davila, mi edad es 36 años.
I feel like being a fighter is a lot more than getting in the cage and fighting. I feel like I'm a fighter in all aspects of life. My name is Malicious Michael Reyes. I am 30 years old. I'm untouchable, I'm unstoppable, I'm omnipotent.
Sé que es un peleador que siempre está tirando su golpe en volumen, que está ahí en tu cara todo el tiempo.
We're gonna punch each other in the face. Like the least you could do is, you know, look me in the eye like a man and say, hey, let's put on a show.
Vamos a dar un show, un espectáculo para la gente que nos está viendo.
I fight to the death. I hope you will as well, because one of us is going to come out there victorious.
It's going to be a good one, and this was a fight that was supposed to happen a few weeks ago. It's happening now. There was some health protocols, but good things come to those who wait, and Michael Reyes has got that target on his back as the number 1 flyweight. Now time for the head-to-head, cara a cara. Reyes with the 1-inch height advantage, 3-inch via the reach. Both fighters making weight 125, where we say we have the best flyweights in the world. Let's go to Lupe Contreras.
Las reglas oficiales de la jaula, 3 vueltas de 5 minutos, 3 jueces, utilizando el sistema de 10 puntos. Este duelo en la división peso mosca, this bout in the flyweight division. Los jueces, the judges, Byron Sellers, Eliseo Rodríguez y Dorian Mirasola. Presentando en la esquina azul, vestido de rojo, presenting the blue corner, wearing red, su peso oficial, 125 libras, his official weight, 125 pounds a nivel profesional. Mantiene un récord de 7 victorias y 3 derrotas as a professional. He maintains a record of 7 victories against 3 losses. Hailing from Herndon, Virginia, and now fighting out of Miami, Florida, the last Inca, Martín El Guerrero de Cristo Davila. Su rival en la esquina roja, vestido de blanco, his opponent in the red corner, wearing white. Marcó un peso oficial de 125 libras y 3 cuartos. On the scale, he registered an official 125 3/4 pounds. En 13 combates, mantiene un récord de 8 victorias y 5 derrotas. In 13 pro bouts, he maintains a record of 8 victories against 5 losses. Fighting out of Oxnard, California, Malicious Michael Reyes. El referee, Alana Vélez.
Alana Vélez, the third inside
All right, I gave you
jaula.
guys the instructions in the locker room. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. If you want to touch him up, go ahead. Come out, fight. Judge. Yes, sir. Judge. Judge.
We got some bad blood
You ready?
here.
Are you ready?
All
And we
because they
love
won't
it.
look at each other.
Yeah, so the fighters are in the same hotel, as it's Michael Reyes in red, and this could be some fireworks early.
Yeah, and right to the start here, Max. Martin likes to go to the ground game, so if he comes in really close, he'll change the levels. As for Reyes, he has good transition and good wrestling, but great hands, and he's just
Reyes.
he's tasting Davila's hands already right from the start.
Both fighters have been down already. It is Davila in red. So with regards to the bad blood, Reyes said that being around, this was the second time in 6 weeks that they have supposed to fight. Several times he tries to ignore me, acts as if I don't exist when we walk by, and then he would say, we're gonna punch each other, at least look me in the eye. That kind of ticked me off, and he's gonna be paying for not being cordial. Just a reminder, be nice, as They get to the center of the jaula, an explosive opening minute here in our co-main event.
Curious to see if they'll share a beer after the fight.
It's been a long time, these two guys hovering around in Miami, chomping at the bit to fight. They finally get there, so it's just been building. They've heard so much about each other as Reyes drops him with that left hand.
And Reyes wants this fight to keep on the feet. Hence, he didn't take the approach to go to the ground game. He knows what Davila is all about on the ground. Davila training with the Young Tigers Foundation. And Reyes with a knuckleheads boxing and MMA. Great cardio, man. He's just so fast, so quick. The last fight that we saw him against Rodrigo Garcia, he was just so aggressive.
Unanimous decision over Garcia. That was in April. And Reyes is 7-5, so it's a peculiar record to be the #1 flyweight. However, he has been unstoppable. Has won 4 of his last 5, all in Combate. And that's why he is viewed so favorably in that pecking order.
Look at this exchanging here, man. Just from the tie-up, shots to the body, to the face. This is high adrenaline stuff right here.
Davila, the #9 ranked flyweight, started fighting in the Marine Corps. He saw combat in 2006, 2007 in Iraq. He walked away, said he was broken a bit spiritually, went through some tough times. Fighting was able to bring back his vision and his positivity.
Started in the Marine Corps with some of the martial art combat training there.
Good right hand, Davila.
Eventually transitioned, and now it's his day job being a mixed martial artist and also a coach. I know he trained some of the jiu-jitsu at the gym. Very active in the social media and how to do proper technique with jiu-jitsu.
Davila, originally from Virginia, good uppercut, called the last Inca. His families are Peruvian.
Great shots from Reyes. Reyes just throwing in some bombs.
Davila, by the way, says his mom is #1 fan. He said he wanted to pass on the message, "Te quiero, mami." Doesn't tune in live to the fight. She waits till it's over to see the fight or find out the result.
I know the feeling. My mom never saw me in action. Didn't want to be there.
It's tough, and we respect the moms. And these kids love their moms, and a big part of why they are doing this professionally. This is so admirable to take this up.
Great head movement from Davila, though. And Reyes has that stance. It just throws you off sometimes. A little Dominic Cruz-ish, if you want to say.
Who gets up first? Davila squeezed back. Both these guys are really game. Guillotine attempt perhaps underneath there. Now he separates.
Davila is too good. He's great on the ground. Great jiu-jitsu. He knows how to escape and transition out of this. In fact, he might even find a way to bring Reyes to the floor.
30 seconds to go here in this opening round.
Big
knee. Almost grounded Davila. He had that leg up, had that arm up in the end.
Look for Reyes to attack more of the body with knees and body shots, the hands to break Davila down. See how Davila, well, both of them, they're just positioning their chin. When you rob, look at that G.
You can see the blood here, bad blood here. These two going at it. A humdinger of an opening round.
The black blood is there, Max.
Yeah.
Usually after an intense round like that, you typically give a little fist pump. No, they just looked at each other and then went to each other's corner.
You can see that they've been sitting on this matchup for a few weeks. They know everything about the opponent. All they've had is time to prepare.
Corner of Davila tells, stick and move, stick and move. Reyes here, I mean, he's doing great stuff. Being aggressive, great transition. Fast pace, man, just fast paced fight. And these guys can go all 3 rounds with no problem here. Reyes decided not to sit in the stool, contrary to his opponent.
We're back here for round 2. We're going to find out the scoring in what was a very competitive opening round. Max Bretos and Rodolfo Roman calling all the action here on a Friday night. Combate Global on Paramount Plus.
Watch the back of the head,
Reyes, a
Mark.
southpaw.
Watch the back of the head.
A warning there for Davila for blow to the back of the head. Reyes sets up that overhand left very nicely.
Last time we saw Davila compete was against Jonathan Sepulveda, who's more of a stand-up fighter. But Reyes, I mean, this guy's the full deal. He brings everything. Great side kick.
We asked Reyes, he says, I feel like I've always been a fighter. I was a miracle baby. His mother had 4 miscarriages before he was born. His mother never gave up on having children. The doctors and nurses said he wouldn't make it. He did, as we see. Reyes gets the opening round, trying to get underneath that chin of Davila, the big knee. He says, I've dealt with what I've had to. I've been a fighter in all aspects of life.
See how he's putting in that leg in between to prevent Reyes to maneuver? But Davila, very patient. This is where he feels comfortable, right here, on the ground.
Davila's been game, but Reyes fighting a really smart fight.
Very smart. A lot of a great aggression from the hands. And every time that he sensed something, he quickly transitioned. That's that wrestling background that he has. Because, you know, it's always great to see when you have a wrestler and you have a jiu-jitsu, when they have that base. The wrestling takedown, you just can't compare it to the grapplers. It's like night and day.
It'd be interesting too, Rodolfo, how Reyes, he looked good at the end of round 1 before round 2. In that Rodrigo Garcia fight, I mean, he took a pounding. Those two guys just lined each other up and threw. And afterwards, he was a hot mess. I spoke to him afterwards, and he was struggling, trying to limit that punishment if he can. This certainly will help, but you never know. These fights tend to go in that direction.
Great body shot from Reyes after that clinch work. Davila setting it up with that jab to follow through. And Reyes almost seems deceiving. That's why I compare his stance to Dominic Cruz, because he'll throw you off. You think that he's out of the game, and all of a sudden he just comes back at you like a bad wolf.
It's a tough matchup. We know the folks in Oxnard and all over Ventura County tuning in to see their guy in the malicious Michael Reyes. Same as we said, those in Virginia and all those who served with Martin Davila. Big kick just underneath the armpit.
Good protection from Davila to keep those hands up.
Reyes connecting on almost everything here. Davila's corner trying to get him going.
Davila, though, in this round, I see him less active compared to that first.
I think it's good observation. Davila needs to get more involved here. Reyes is getting off his. Came in with that left hand, pushed away by Davila, takes the center, big knee by Reyes.
There's that takedown attempt. Nowhere home, nobody home. Reyes good on popping up those hips, preventing that takedown to fall through.
4 wins in 5 for Reyes. The only loss, a surprising guillotine defeat to Pablo Caballero in June of last year. To see Caballero again here at some point, who's also part of the rankings in flyweight.
Another fun guy to watch.
This flyweight division, for so many years in all the companies, it was viewed as it wasn't sustainable, but we've seen it here. The 125s we have, these guys fight hard, there's knockout power in them, and it's always entertaining.
It's not like boxing in the flyweights. It's a whole different ball game.
It is 100% a viable weight class, and Combate is reaping the benefits. Davila reaches out, connects slightly with that right hand.
Yeah, but a different Martin, a different Davila in this round compared to that first. He was exchanging a lot more. Oh, he did clip him there with that left.
30 seconds to go. Davila getting involved here at the end of round 2. Straight right hand.
It seems like he's not wasting his shots now. He's being more precise. He knows he has to conserve that energy.
Reyes
so he's waiting Reyes to come in.
I think he's caught into the rhythm a bit.
Yeah.
He knows where Reyes may be going.
Right. So
Going
he's
into that
slowed down
blind
the
spot.
pace. Yeah, he doesn't want to keep up his pace, which is going to frustrate Reyes.
He's going to need to win this second round, Davila, if he wants to win it via decision in round 3. Don't know if he did. We'll find out. Take a break here. That's an interesting observation, Rodolfo, is Reyes kept going into the blind spot, moving to the left. Davila didn't like it, and then it hit him, and he kind of caught up with that pace.
Yeah, and here it is. Davila attempted to take this fight to the ground, but quickly, great transition from Reyes. That's that wrestling background, scooping up both of those legs, landing in some shots to the face. Davila attempted to do some of his jiu-jitsu work. However, it wasn't gonna happen. Reyes continued on firing those hands, being the aggressor, landing in that knee, in that midsection of Davila. And again, Reyes refusing to stand or sit on that stool, unlike his opponent who sat on the stool.
Last round, Mike. Mark, last round.
Round 3, everything to fight for. Number 1 versus number 9 in the flyweights.
All right, so do we see a Davila from the first round or a Davila in the second round? Does he follow the pace of Reyes? Or does he just wait for that moment to strike?
Both fighters have won 4 of their last 5. Davila victorious in May. He's won his last 2 here in Combate. 4 submission victories for Davila of his 7 professional wins. We haven't really seen the submission prowess come into play, but it certainly still can. Reyes drives forward, always pressing.
You heard the corner of Martin telling him head movement, because when he strikes, he's coming in real stiff. Has to be careful. Although both these guys have just strong chins, and they're not gonna go down.
Big over the left, but that's Davila's starting to win those 50-50s. Reyes a clean sweep, and the judges again. He's won both rounds.
Beautiful setup for that 1-2 combination.
Oh, good right hand. Thought the left was coming, he tricked him. Now the right jab firing off.
Great jab work from Reyes.
Davila's corner saying, you've got to apply the pressure.
Yeah, as soon as Reyes comes in, Davila just needs to connect, especially with the body shots. That's going to slow him down. He's going to take some of his air out.
Reyes now continues the move to his left. He's been doing it from the opening second.
And I think the reason why Davila hasn't tested the ground game is because Reyes has good transition on the ground. He has that wrestling background. Every time that he senses something, he's quick to get out. So Davila's going to depend on those hands. He's going to exchange. Now Reyes here, some clinch work. Let's see if he can scoop him, throw him to the floor.
Reyes, he's such a joy to listen to when we do our pre-fight interviews. He's very cerebral, was asked about the mental aspect about fighting. Says all of fighting is mental, all of it. The physical prowess comes along. You can get there, but you've got to have it between the ears to be successful here. 100% mental approach.
Working the hooks from Davila. Now Davila switching the clinch to his advantage. Now he's scooping him down, but Reyes keeping that leg, preventing him to bringing him down. You know, one thing he said is, and I just found so smart on Reyes, is that he uses the canvas as his paint because he's an artist.
He is.
So he paints it. He uses more MMA as his art, and the canvas is where he paints on.
Yeah, he says, I see it as an art form. I want to be an artist. Instincts complement my creativity. And he has been rock solid with his instincts here tonight. Continues to work to the left. Now the left hand is coming back into play. 1:45 to go in this final round. He's won the first 2 rounds, looking for a clean sweep. And what a victory this would be for whoever wins, because it's been a long 6 weeks, roughly, for this fight to happen. The ups and downs, to retrain, to make weight on 2 occasions. It is tough, and these guys have gone through hell and high water, and it will be satisfying for who wins and utterly disappointing for the loser.
It could be frustrating. It's almost kind of like, you know,
Could have been low.
You're about to board the plane and to tell you, sorry, your flight has been canceled. That's how it feels like, Max.
Dude, I'm jumping on a plane tomorrow. Don't say that out loud. You know that MIA. Canceling flights willy-nilly. Good left hand there by Davila. Caught Reyes coming in, but it has to be harder.
Oh!
No, and he caught in, but he got swept. Beautiful play there by Reyes. He has been an artiste in this fight.
Good low kicks from Reyes, and now that inside low kick.
And I will say he hasn't
slipped.
Oh, big clubbing, spinning back fist.
You saw that smile, though?
He hasn't been roughed up in this fight,
No, he
Rodolfo,
hasn't.
which
He
is
hasn't.
great for him.
No, the curious thing is, he falls, he quickly stands up and follows up with a spinning back fist.
And the
Smart
big
man
smile.
of Reyes.
And his smile will light up a room.
Never let your guard down. He got the memo.
Michael Reyes, his life, he had to put his dog down a few weeks ago, how heavy it was. He got his fiance, he's now a father. He says it's a feeling I can't put into words. It's changed my life, everything about me. I dream about my daughter. Well, she's gonna be very happy because Dada's gonna get a victory in convincing fashion here tonight in the co-main event.
Mi nombre es Jair, el Lupe Pérez, tengo 24 años y soy originario de Guadalupe, Nuevo León. Yo creo que soy un peleador de ambos grupos, ¿no? De los que piensa y de los que deja su instinto. Hay momentos para pensar y hay momentos que dices que el instinto te pide guerra, ¿no? Y vas al choque sin pensar. Así que yo creo que soy un peleador híbrido. Cuando yo subo a la jaula es un sentimiento inexplicable. Yo lo llegaría a describir hasta como una droga, ¿no? Como mucha adrenalina. Me siento en mi hábitat. Son 15 minutos que se van de volada y trato de aprovechar cada minuto. Siento que abrieron la puerta, ¿no? del corral y salgo a volar, aunque es al revés. Me meten al corral y vuelo en el corral. De mi contrincante sé que tiene un récord de 8-2 muy bueno, es de Nueva York, es bueno en las sumisiones, pero creo que no ha peleado con alguien duro, no ha peleado con un mexicano, pero pues el trabajo ya está hecho, me siento listo, me siento seguro y pues los mexicanos somos duros de romper. Justin, espero estés listo y te hayas preparado porque vamos a ir a una guerra.
Time now for the official decision. Mikey Reyes with perhaps his best performance yet in Combate. He was your #1 flyweight coming in, and he looks to stay there. Let's go to Lupe Contreras for the particulars.
Los jueces Sellers y Rodríguez entregan tarjetas de 30 a 27. Judges Rodríguez and Sellers turn in scores of 30 to 27. Y el juez Mirasola anotó 29 a 28. Judge Mirasola scores at 29 to 28. All in favor of the winner by way of unanimous decision. Los tres a favor del vencedor por decisión unánime. Malicious Michael Reyes.
All respect in the end. Michael Reyes' face is clean. He improves to 9-5. Your #1 flyweight here in Combate Global. 5 wins in his last 6. Tony Padilla in there to take our matchmaker to get the photo op. And that is pure relief for Reyes. Our main event is next. Jair Perez, that is the man who resides at #3 in the featherweight rankings. This man's not ranked, I don't know how. He is an absolute beast. You'll see Justin Slick J Vazquez. That's coming up next. We are in Miami and we're closing in on the main event on a Labor Day weekend. I hope you're having a great time with yours, your family. Maybe you're all watching Combate. Maybe not for the young ones, although they would certainly appreciate what the man my good friend Rodolfo Roman just called the artiste. Like, he has that Salvador Dali mustache.
I'm telling you, I'm going somewhere with this stuff.
We'll
The
see.
malicious artiste.
The malicious artiste. You're making some progress here. Again, he says the canvas is the jaula. As we get ready, we move on from the flyweights up to the featherweights, 145 pounds. Jair Perez, Justin Vazquez. Let's take a look at the man who's hoping to jump into the top 10.
It's a powerful feeling that I have. It's really hard to explain, but I just know, like, this is what I'm meant to do. Every time I get the chance to fight, it's just another chance for me to prove to myself and just to keep building. And so far, it's been great. I don't really focus on what my opponent can do. I'm just always thinking about what I can do and what I'm good at. I'm always gonna treat the opponent in front of me the same way I treat every other opponent. Jair, prepárate, because I'm coming for you, and I'm gonna hurt you.
Here he is, Slick J, the home team, fighting out of Miami. You can see in his amateur ranks, he was accomplished. Amazing that he is not in the top 10. I'm not saying anything wrong about who puts it away, puts those rankings into play, because 145 pounds, you've got some killers. But this guy, 8-2, 2-0 in Combate, and now he gets to be the main event.
This is a great opportunity for him to get in those rankings, move up ahead. Solid fighter.
And now, Jair Perez.
Cuando yo subo a la jaula es un sentimiento como mucha adrenalina. Te saco golpes de reversibles, te puedo tumbar, me siento en mi hábitat. Y pues son 15 minutos que se van así. Va a ser una buena pelea. Va a haber muchos intercambios, pero que guarde unas pastillas para la inflamación, que va a terminar muy hinchado. Justin, espero estés listo y te hayas preparado, porque vamos a ir a una guerra.
Jair Perez, the prototypical fighter that keeps getting better every time we see him. 7-2, the number 3 ranked featherweight. He is just getting started in MMA. 24 years of age, from the Fighting Perez family of Monterrey, Nuevo León, highlighted by big brother Goyito Perez, who fought here, fought a UFC. Very accomplished fighter. But maybe this is the best Perez. Keeps winning.
I think so. He just defeated Landry Ward. Landry Ward is a game fighter, very solid stand-up game, and he had the height advantage, and Perez made it look very, very comfortable for him. It's a great win for him. Gave Landry Ward his first defeat. He's coming in with a lot of momentum.
Head-to-head, cara a cara. You can see Perez wet behind the ears, just 24. Vazquez, 2-inch height advantage, 2-inch via the reach. We are at the featherweight. Perez coming 1.5 pounds or 1.8 pounds over the limit. Let's get ready for the main event and go to Lupe Contreras.
Este es el duelo estelar de esta noche. 3 vueltas, división peso pluma. This is the main event. 3 rounds. In the featherweight division, los jueces son, the judges are Richard Green Jr., Byron Sellers y Eliseo Rodríguez. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, llegó el momento de un combate global. Presentando en la esquina azul, vestido de rojo, presenting the blue corner, wearing red, su peso oficial, 146 libras, his official weight, 146 pounds. En su 11º combate dentro de la jaula, con 8 victorias y 2 derrotas, he enters la jaula for the 11th time as a pro, with 8 victories against 2 losses. De cría boricua, and fighting out of Miami, Florida, Justin Slick J. Vazquez. Su oponente en la esquina roja, vestido de verde con blanco, his opponent in the red corner wearing green with white. Sobre la báscula, marcó un peso oficial de 147 libras y 3/4. On the scale, he registered an official 147 3/4 pounds. En su 10º combate, con 7 victorias y 2 derrotas, he enters la jaula for the 10th time with 7 victories against 2 losses. El norteño de Guadalupe, Nuevo León, México, Jair, el Lupe Perez. El referee, Marcos Pérez.
Peleadores.
Marcos Perez, the third inside la jaula.
Aquí. Miren. Ok. Ya saben las reglas. Quiero una pelea limpia, ¿ok?
Clean fight.
Mi comando, en todo momento. ¿Ok? Choquen guantes en el momento. A su esquina.
Slick J. Jair Perez.
¿Estás listo?
He's sporting that
¿Estás
Chicago
listo?
Bulls tattoo.
Combate.
Yeah, El Lupe, we are underway. Main event, round 1. It is Slick J in the red, and they are throwing harbingers right from the jump. Spinning back kick from Vazquez.
You know, I wanted to see those 20 seconds, how this fight was going to turn out to be. Well, it's going to be an aggressive one right from the start. Perez is a fighter that will surprise you, throwing Superman punches, knees, look out for the overhand right. As for Justin, or Vazquez, look out for that jab. He's going to work the body. Very patient fighter of the two. But he also has a hard, heavy right hand. Like another Superman punch, his second attempt to Superman punch from Perez.
Vazquez, who was dominant in his last fight. Lopsided, unanimous decision over Mauricio Cubillo. That was in May. Prior to that, he beat Gago Kelly, a guillotine in the first round, October 2021. So he's been winning fights for Rodolfo. He's been impressive in those wins.
This is a different fighter for him. Perez will come real close to you and force you to exchange, as we're seeing here. Vazquez is doing what he needs to do, keeping those hands up, letting Perez just punch away, which could drain you. Look, he's already busted open on that right, underneath that right eye.
Yeah, he just felt it too. He knows it's flowing. And Vazquez looks at it as if he has hit the dartboard on the bullseye.
And look at Vazquez, now that he hasn't broken a sweat. So he's playing a good fight here, being very the patient one.
That almost that little question mark over the top kick. Just beautiful dexterity. He is representing Puerto Rico, by the way. When you see a stand-up fighting between Mexico and Puerto Rico, you better pay attention.
Two countries known for their fighting.
Oh, yeah. Vazquez now a Miami kid. Fighting out of the Freedom Fighters, could not say enough good things about his team. Called it
great.
family. As Perez with the sweep.
Great calf kick. Vazquez with a height advantage. What, 2 inches? Makes a big difference, Max.
And he has really good control over his body. Although Perez catches that lead leg. Now a kick into the midsection, and Vazquez out of the reach. Perez keeps peppering away.
Vazquez's corner telling him to feint. Make him guess. Force him to come in.
And it's getting bloody there on his right cheek. And you can see Perez touched it, which means it could, who knows if there's structural damage there. It's bothering him. Wow, look at that.
Perez has been knocked out before.
Laser fast kick there, although it missed from Vazquez. And he's starting to seize control here.
Great switch kick there from Vazquez. He's playing a great game plan. Vazquez is not leading into the fight that Perez wants him to fight. Remember, I asked him. I said, "Are you gonna play his fight? Are you gonna go toe-to-toe with him?" He goes, "No, I'll feel it out." That's exactly what he's doing. He's not gonna get in a brawl with him.
Vazquez delivers and blocks.
And when you're a fighter that it's more the offensive one, it frustrates you if your partner doesn't want to go toe-to-toe with you. It's so frustrating. You have no idea.
They want to go to toe-to-toe. Perez gets through that time. Another straight right hand by Perez. He took a kick to the lead leg, but he was able to check it.
those calf kicks, they've been pretty effective for Perez.
This is incredible, Rodolfo. Both fighters have this run of about 30 seconds where they're dominant. Then the other one showcases it. It was Vazquez. It's now Perez in the midst of enjoying that.
Oh, it's like spurts, you know?
Yeah. It's almost like a battle.
Yeah.
It's like a dance battle. Under a minute.
Vazquez though needs to check those calf kicks. He's already been hit by like 3, 4, 5 times. Great switch trick there caught by Vazquez.
You can hear the corner there of Vazquez and maybe a little behind the neck attempt. Vazquez has him airborne. Probably thinking about a place to deposit him.
He doesn't have anything. That Vazquez does have that chin down.
Vazquez drops, Perez relinquishes.
He's switching there. It's exactly what he had to do. Switch the position of the body to get off it. Maybe it has to be cautious if he lands a knee because his knees was down, but no, good stuff. Vazquez following up with those hands.
Oh, you can see the Vazquez corner saying that he's got it. He's got the upper hand. Vazquez blocks. Vazquez, who is sporting a Flanagan's Miami sponsorship on his shorts, with a great first round. Fantastic opening round, as to be expected. Two fighters who want it really bad. Vazquez in particular.
Great stuff from Vazquez. Really impressive stuff.
Beautiful stuff.
He's getting Perez very frustrated. You heard his corner saying, "Oh, you broke his will." He did, because that was Perez's game plan. Come in aggressive, overhand right, force him to fight. Vazquez is the more patient one. He's very strategic, waiting for that good opportunity to find that finish. Again, Perez has been KO'd before.
We are back, round two. That's going to be a tough one to score. It was a serious ebb and flow to it, but we'll find out who gets the nod, and it's going to be a huge decision.
It was back in November of 2020, Max, where Perez was KO'd by a right hook by Gabriel Morales, who has competed here in Combate Global. And it was by a simple mistake. He came in and got clocked with the right hand.
We saw the corner, the Freedom Fighters, the team for Justin Vazquez. He says, my relationship with my Lolo, he's like father and son. He's always honest, tells me exactly the way it is. They say, when they say I am ready, you know I am. Wouldn't tell me anything of that until that moment arrives.
Manolo has a history of teaching some great fighters, the Yoel Romero's, Alex Cáceres.
Better from Perez, still awaiting the official decision here. 1 minute into round two. Perez is uncomfortable, and that's what Vazquez does.
Very, he's frustrated.
Oh, look at that, another question mark backdoor kick.
Well, it's gonna land, man. I mean,
one of these are gonna land.
One of those is just gonna land. And look at the open scoring there.
Perez took out the lead leg. It stumbled Vazquez, but he gets his feet underneath him immediately.
Perez needs to keep cattle because he's not checking it. Vazquez is not checking it. Needs to be consistent with it. There it is. He has not checking it.
Vazquez winning 6 of 7 fights. And they've really elevated him at Freedom Fighters as a guy who could be the next big thing. Big club by Perez. Looks to follow it up, and he got caught.
Kept that left shoulder up, that blocked it though, Max. Perez didn't enter with that right hand.
Beautiful kick upstairs by Vazquez. Trying to dip in there. 3 minutes to go, round two.
Great stuff from Vazquez. He shows that 1-2, although that didn't connect it, but quick to have that head movement because he knows that Perez will follow up with those hands. He's just looking for that opening. He wants that highlight reel with that question mark kick.
Again, kicks into the liver there from Vazquez as Perez had his back turned.
And not checking that low kick. He needs to check the kick. Vazquez now following up with his own kick. Perez with the teep, another low kick.
Perez is going there. It's had some positive effect.
He has to be consistent with that. Vazquez is not. He's not checking it. He's not checking it. Could be very detrimental. He's winning the fight. That's one mistake that he's doing, not checking those kicks. There it is again, all day.
Now he comes right up Route 1 to clog up the lane. Jair Perez, 9 years of age, was an Olympic wrestler. 19, he became professional.
Perez working the body, forcing Vazquez to come in, to crunch down, to bring him to his level where he can connect those hands. I don't see this fight going to the ground, Max, the way it's going.
He almost felt like this fight wouldn't go the distance, but now you have to consider it with 1:30 to go in round 2. Slowing down a little bit. Blocked there by Vazquez.
Yeah, Perez adjusted. He adjusted from that initial start where he was just throwing hands. He's adjusted to Vazquez's fight, where he's now attacking that lead leg, following up with the hands instead of being the aggressor one. A little dirty boxing in that pocket from Perez.
And the Perez corner likes it. They want to see the activity. He's starting to piece some things together. Spinning back fist out of the reach. Perez gets out of dodge, recircles, sets in, catches the leg. That one hurt.
He's not checking it, and listen,
he's switching stances now, so that lead leg is hurting.
And that's gonna stop him from throwing in those kicks that could potentially knock out Perez. So he's definitely playing a good game plan.
Tide is turning here. Fascinating matchup. Vazquez slowing down after an explosive first round.
Perez adjusting to the fight.
And Perez, perfect time, at least for the takedown. He didn't get it, but he's able to get into close quarters and get some points here to wrap up round 2. And we've reached the end of it. Perez being tested. We have seen him respond so well so many times.
You hear the corner that he has to be very smart with his fight. Keep kicking that
working
leg.
that lead leg.
Keep working it.
It's working.
Listen, once you get a flat, harder to keep going.
Main event here in the featherweight division, 145 pounds. Justin Vazquez shot out of a cannon in the first round. Jair Perez had to adapt. He has found his legs now. And now Perez with a chance to go from strength to strength and maybe take this victory when it looked pretty bleak opening on. Vazquez has to dig deep. Much respect there. This is his moment. What it would do for his MMA career if he can come out with a big third round. Perez is the
exchange. It's more like Vazquez now is fighting Perez's fight.
How is that lead leg holding up? Still
not
kicking
checking
it.
Again. We checked a little too late there, Vazquez.
It's been the downfall of so many fighters that we have seen in mixed martial arts, to see fighters get torn down because their lead leg just became absolutely useless because of the damage it's taken through a fight.
And this time around, if you notice, he'll shoot and he'll switch the stance, switch the legs.
Takedown defense, excellent from Vazquez.
Vazquez
sat him down.
Yeah, but not yet. He's gonna pop his hips up. Not
Slick
to give him
J
the point.
Back to La Jaula.
Let's see, though, Vazquez does have that good ground game. Let's see if he can find something. He's trained with Ray Fundora, the Freedom Fighters. Excellent jiu-jitsu practitioner.
8 victories, 4 via submission for Vazquez. So this is maybe something that he would invite.
Great Vazquez there, passing, standing the fight up again. Good takedown.
Got the back of Vazquez. Tries to drop him, the suplex doesn't work, so good defense. This all matters.
Yeah, he grabbed the howler there, but he
Can't do
said,
that.
sorry about that.
Surprising, Vazquez getting the nod in the second round. I thought Perez has a really big claim to that.
Well, Why? Because it kicks?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but Vazquez
wore it
was
down.
Sure, but I think Vazquez is a little bit more efficient with his hands, being more precise.
Two judges agreed with you, one with me. Oh, big right hand from Vazquez. Speeding back. One of those are going to connect. That wasn't it.
He's waiting for it. Perez needs to attack that leg again. Anything goes right now. You got 3 minutes.
Jair Perez has fought for Combate 7 times. He's won 6 of them. Got caught. A bit of a graze, but still enough to stop the fight here with 2:50 to go.
Might get his 5 minutes.
He's ready to go.
No, he's ready. Well, especially in this type of fight, you don't want to slow down the pace. If you're okay, if you're able to just, hey, suck it all in, look at the side kick he's going to throw in right there.
Oh, that was pretty square.
Yep.
It hit it. It's just hit with much velocity.
Yeah, right. A little graze, right? A little graze.
Well, the scorecards are official. You just saw them, and now Perez has to get on his bike.
One way of winning this fight for him, and that's either by KO, TKO, or find a submission. And Vazquez is not giving into play to go to the ground. Great kick, those kicks, man.
Still going to the well, and one of these days he'll get a bucket of water, I'm sure.
But he follows up. You know, Perez follows up with that kick. Vazquez is not checking those kicks.
Big right hand by Perez.
Right into it.
Those have they've got to do some damage. They got to hurt Vazquez so he can do the follow-up. Not there yet. Left hand on the way out. He's getting desperate. We know what he wants. And by the way, an empty jaula, you get to hear the corner, which is good for the fighters, but certainly for the broadcasters. We certainly wait for the moment to bring more and more fans. There's a small audience now inside the studios, which is wonderful to hear and see.
Oh, some of those sounds, right?
Yeah.
They're quite amazing what the coaches say, the corners say. Another not checking those kicks.
But it's one of maybe 2 kicks in the 3rd round that he's done.
Yeah, but it's been the story of this fight. For Vazquez here, the mistake, if you were to look back at this fight, is you have to check the kicks. Another question mark kick.
Got some of them, got some of Perez, kind of off the top of the skull. Back in that lead leg, now giving him some of his own medicine. Squeeze, and the takedown into the guard for Vazquez, and the corner feels that could be that championship moment.
Let's see if he can find them out, but Perez. Look at Perez almost getting an armbar, but getting away, transitioning.
A result that will shake up the featherweight rankings. Perez at number 3 at risk of defeat.
Great takedown there. That's that Nuevo Leon Wrestling, who was selected to the team at 10 years old, Max.
Unbelievable. I mean, he's been these kids fighting their whole lives. But it's about Vazquez right now, closing in on a game-changing victory, a career-changing victory.
Yeah, Vazquez knows. He's going to transition here. Great transitioning to the back. Hell, he might finish
it here. Drops it down, looking for the rear naked choke. Perez hanging on. A little anaconda roll there.
Oh, he might have. Nope. Protecting himself, Perez. Wow, good stuff from Vazquez.
Statement from Slick J. He said this was his moment. He said he was the man, and he was. He was right.
Vazquez, good stuff from him.
Local kid will find out if he finished the job. Official decision coming your way next.
Mi nombre es Carlos Mascorro, tengo 26 años, vengo de Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, México. No me pone ninguna presión ser un peleador mexicano, al contrario me llena más de energía, de las ganas de demostrar el estilo mexicano.
My name is Maximiliano Gonzalez, still, and I come from Mexico City. I started fighting because I saw MMA on TV when I was a kid and I fell in love with it. What I think before the fight, I'm just focusing what I'm gonna do and how I'm going to win.
Del estilo de pelea de él, vi una pelea de él y peleó arriba nada más. Pero sé que es cintanera en Jiu-Jitsu y pues
Vamos a ver qué. What I know about my opponent, I know he's a great striker and he really likes to fight, but I'm gonna bring the fight to him. Carlos, I'm gonna beat you. There's no way I'm losing this fight. I'm gonna give it my everything. You're gonna give it your everything, and we're gonna give a great show.
Maximiliano González, espero dar una buena pelea, que demos una buena pelea y pues a divertirnos.
Back inside the studios where the Jaula resides and about to hear what could be a breakthrough moment for Slick J. Vazquez, a fighter who hopes his arrival is announced today. Let's find out if that's the case. Lupe Contreras.
Después de 3 vueltas de mucha más acción, los jueces Green Jr. y Sellers entregan tarjetas de 30 a 27 after 3 rounds. Of much more action, judges Green Jr. and Sellers scored about identically at 30 to 27. Y el juez Rodríguez anotó 29 a 28. Judge Rodríguez scores at 29 to 28. All in favor of the winner by way of unanimous decision, los tres a favor del vencedor por decisión unánime. El Body, Slick J. Justin Vazquez.
Vazquez saying, that's not my nickname. Body is to suggest he's Puerto Rican. He made him wait. It was torture for Vazquez, but he heard it. The entire Freedom Fighters team inside La Jaula with him. What a great moment for this guy. He has worked so hard. He's 30, so he has been toiling away at this sport, and it's all seemed to click in. He's 9-2. He's going to be ranked. The only question now is how high.
I'm sure the ranking gods have taken a look at this fight, and Vazquez has to be in the mix of the top 10. Great work from him. He didn't fight the fight that Perez wanted, which is that aggressiveness. He didn't go toe-to-toe. He waited very patiently. He wanted a highlight reel. He took tons of question mark kicks. The only thing from this fight that I would take away, Vazquez, is check the kicks. Very important.
That's some solid homework to take away, because someone will exploit that. Someone will watch this tape and see where they go. And maybe he'll know now what body as he moves forward. But Vazquez, he talked about the Freedom Fighters. They were all in the Jaula at the end. He says, that's my actual family. We don't lie to each other. And he's been incredibly supportive for a guy who's had some rough breaks in his life. Now he is reaping the benefits as we look at the stats. Better in the punches. The striking was better. And then the takedown when he did. Again, stats don't really tell the story. Right. They don't really tell the story there.
And for Perez, look, he pretty much fought the same fight he did against Ward. So he has to do a little tweaking in there, be a little explore and experiment in other areas.
He will be back. Jair Perez still a big box office attraction here. Next fight coming your way, Carlos Mascorro, Maximiliano Gonzalez. Miami, the place to be on a Friday night when it comes to mixed martial arts. Mucho más acción. So many great stories coming out of this city, including one of their own, Justin Slick J. Vazquez, with the biggest win of his career. He's now 9-2, and a featherweight to remember here in Combate Global, or anywhere for that matter. We're in the bantamweights next. Carlos Mascorro, the man known as La Anguila. Maximiliano Gonzalez, the man known as Steel. He's going to bounce back from that defeat to Axel Osuna. We're ready for our final fight of the night. Let's go to Lupe Contreras.
Entrando a la jaula, Carlos Mascorro.
Trains with Pro Athletes Team, affiliate of Entrom Gym. 26-year-old former soccer player. Starting to get back into the groove of fighting. Has not fought in 2 years.
Yeah, some of the reasoning is due to the pandemic. It was had some difficulties trying to find some fights. He was originally supposed to fight here in La Jaula some time ago, a couple of weeks ago, about a little less than 2 months ago. Protocols got in the way. He's now ready to go inside La Jaula. Great opportunity from this young man. And again, He has been away from some time, but it's a great opportunity for you to fix some of those holes in your fight game.
Back to Lupe Contreras.
Su rival, Max Gonzalez.
Max Steel Gonzalez fighting out of Mexico City. So we have Mexico contra Mexico here tonight. He is locked in. Brother, part of the contingency that will bring him out to La Jaula. Came to fame in October of 2021, a fight we called, Rodolfo. Bryce Gamboa had him beat, and then in the second round, rear naked choke, victory for Steel.
Great stuff from Max here, and a great opportunity to bounce back and get that winning column. Has a great background in the ground game, so look for that. He'll go ahead and trade, but won't be surprised if he changes the levels and take the fight to the ground game where he feels very comfortable.
Head-to-head, cara a cara, two fighters just getting started, 26 years of age, 1-inch height advantage for Mascorro, but it's the 1-inch reach edge for Gonzalez, 135, 136-pound limit. Both fighters making weight here at bantamweight. We're ready to go. Final fight of the night. Vamos! We go inside La Jaula to Lupe Contreras.
Continuamos con mucha más acción. 3 vueltas, división peso gallo. We continue with much more action. 3 rounds in the bantamweight division. Los jueces son, the judges are Dorian Mirasola, Richard Green y Byron Sellers. Presentando la esquina azul, vestido de rojo con blanco, presenting the blue corner, wearing red with white. Su peso oficial, 135 libras y un cuarto. His official weight, 135 1/4 pounds. Entra por octava ocasión a La Jaula con 4 victorias y 3 derrotas. He enters La Jaula for the 8th time as a pro with 4 victories against 3 losses. De Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, México, La Anguila, Carlos Mascorro. En la esquina opuesta, vestido de blanco in the opposite corner, wearing white. Marcó un peso oficial de 134 libras y un cuarto. He registered on official 134 1/4 pounds. Entra por 6ª ocasión a La Jaula con 3 victorias y 2 derrotas. He enters La Jaula for the 6th time as a pro with 3 victories against 2 losses. De la Ciudad de México, Max Steel Gonzalez. El referee, Alana Vélez.
Alana Vélez the third inside La Jaula.
Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. You want to touch him up? Go ahead. Come out, fight. Judge. Judge. Judge.
Ready to go here in our bantamweight featured bout.
Fight, are you ready? Fight, are you ready? Fight.
Mascorro needs to use that Muay Thai, use that jab to keep the distance between him and Max. As for Max, set him up, work the body so he could take the fight to the ground game and look for a submission.
Gonzalez, an unorthodox fighter. You will see he is in the white, and he is taking a pounding early on. Took that knee.
Every time I see Gonzalez, it's that guard he keeps up with his fighting is so, it's unusual to say the least. And his footwork, look at that right foot, how he just shifts it to the right. Mascorro though having a lot of fun in there, man. Really exploring, experimenting. Max does have the advantage of the floor, but Mascorro taking in some chances, throwing in some wild things in here, hoping to connect.
Now he gets into the guard, so something for Gonzalez, just looking to slow this rocket ship that has been Mascorro to start this fight.
Mascorro he grabbed the La Jaula, needs to be careful with that. Saw a couple of weeks ago where a fighter was grabbing his toes in La Jaula, got 2 points deducted because of that.
Alana Vélez rules with an iron fist.
And he is the referee right now, so be cautious with your toes or your hands on La Jaula.
Trying to get into that guard. Now, Mascorro, our Art Izquierdo, interviewed him and goes, what does your corner tell you between rounds about fighting? He goes, I never get out of the first round. In September, his last fight, arm triangle choke in the first round. Prior to that, 3 straight wins, as Alana Vélez will pick them up. 2 first-round TKO wins, first-round submission win prior to that. So he has not seen the second round. Win or lose, mostly win, doesn't make it that far, and it seems like he doesn't want to get there the way he's fighting this fight early on either.
Now, on paper, right, you say, wow, this guy's a savage. But to a fighter, not being in the second or the third round could be a disadvantage because he's never been there. He doesn't know what it feels like. So cardio comes into play. The mental game comes into play. All of those variables comes in, and we don't know. And by the looks of it, I mean, we're still almost midway through the first round. Moscarro might finally head into the second round.
Trying to get him through to perhaps a transition into a submission attempt. I heard Kimura and maybe an armbar.
But it's not there. Max just good chance there to land some elbows, which he is doing here. Now, Mascorro trying to land that, grab that arm. See, he has wrapped those legs around him. But Gonzalez very smart. He's very smart on the ground game.
Really coaching Max Gonzalez to make sure he is in the right position, gets into side control. He has done much better after weathering that storm from Mascorro.
Gonzalez pulling all that weight. He's waiting for Mascorro to make a mistake so he could get the back. Now rolling in that almost like a half Nelson to flatten him out. Maybe even land a crucifix if you're now he got the mount. There it is. Now Max has that chance here to lay those shots. Maybe Mascorro will not make it to the first round, but not
now
because he won. No, another rear naked choke by
He's in trouble here.
He does have the chin to the right side. Now he has to put that elbow up.
Uh-oh, and he's very uncomfortable. No, he's tapping. He's not all right. And he just can't get out of the first round.
It was hard to look because he had that chin down.
Maximiliano, from one Maximiliano to another, I salute you. Says hi to brother Alex. Big time victory after the disappointment of the Axel Osuna decision.
Quick victory for Gonzalez, and again, Mascorro does not get to make it to the second round.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It just doesn't happen. He will never know what it's like to get some coaching between rounds.
Not yet. Very young in his
Wins
career
or loss. His last 3 wins. 2 TKOs, 1 submission in the first round. But now he's been submitted in the first round in his last 2 defeats. We'll be back for the official decision. We are back. A lot of our fights, if not all, going the distance. They all went to the third round. But at the end, we get a first round finish. And Max Gonzalez will maintain his position in the top 10. The official decision, Lupe Contreras.
La esquina roja consigue el Mata León con un tiempo oficial de 3 minutos 34 segundos del primer episodio, obligando a su rival a darse por vencido. The red corner sinks in the rear naked choke, obligating his opponent to tap with an official time of 3 minutes 34 seconds of the opening round. Your winner by way of sumisión, the winner by way of submission, de Mexico, Max Steel Gonzalez.
Improves to 4-2. His last 2 wins via rear naked choke. And he will be a top 10 bantamweight. Big win against a tough opponent, although he made it look easy. Much more Combate Global coming your way. Always busy on Ocean Drive. It's safe for now, but the police are close if there's any entanglements. We have some más acción coming your way here inside La Jaula, a flyweight matchup. And another Chilean fighter looking to make some headway. Javier Valdebenito versus Emmanuel Berumen. We go head-to-head, cara a cara. Valdebenito just 19 years of age. Berumen thought he was young, but there's always someone younger. All the same on the height and the reach. Valdebenito coming 3.5 pounds below the limit. Let's go to Lupe.
Este duelo, 3 vueltas, división peso mosca, this bout 3 rounds. In the flyweight division, los jueces son, the judges are Richard Green Jr., Byron Sellers y Eliseo Rodríguez. Presentando la esquina azul, Vestido de rojo, presenting the blue corner, wearing red, su peso oficial, 121 libras y media, his official weight, 121.5 pounds. Entra por tercera ocasión a la jaula con un récord invicto de 2 victorias. He enters la jaula for the 3rd time as a pro with an undefeated record of 2 victories. De Santiago de Chile, el Pantera, Javier Valdebenito. Su oponente en la esquina roja, vestido de verde, his opponent in the red corner, wearing green. Su peso oficial, 124 libras y media, his official weight, 124.5 pounds. Entra por segunda vez a la jaula con récord de una derrota. He enters la jaula for the 2nd time as a pro with a record of 1 defeat. Representando a Juarito, Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, México, el Destroyer, Emanuel Berumen. El referee, Marcos Perez.
Marcos Perez, the 3rd inside la jaula.
Ven aquí, por favor. Acá. Ok. Ya saben las reglas. Quiero una pelea limpia. Obedezca mi comando en todo momento, ¿ok? Choquen guantes si lo quieren. A sus esquinas.
Max, we noticed there the difference in the weight.
How does that happen? How do you 125 is hard to make, and then to come 3.5 pounds below.
Under, right. I had a situation myself where I was fighting a 205, and I can't remember the top of my head, maybe it was like a 10 pound window. And I just remember my coach just telling me, go to the back, drink a gallon of water. You know, you have to make the weight somehow, some way, and I made it by the skin of my teeth.
Drink some water, eat a tres leches cake, a 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola, you name it. I mean, that's a lot of weight when you're breaking it down, but Valdebenito, when you're that low, you didn't have to
cut weight.
Kill yourself to
Right,
cut weight.
right.
So you're probably feeling pretty good. And it looks pretty good as he's there bouncing off his feet.
Just
He is in red.
19 years old. That's just quite amazing stuff.
Well, we saw one Chilean fighter win tonight, Victor Valenzuela. We're seeing a Chilean fighter every week. And you're going to get some young kids that are going to get interested in MMA, although he takes a couple punches. And Berumen now trying to take him down.
Great stuff from the youngsters here going at it. Great wrestling from the Mexican.
Berumen from Chihuahua, also Ciudad Juárez. Just like a fighter we saw earlier this evening in Carlos Mascorro.
Valdebenito, such a great story of this young man. Had to leave his parents behind to go train at the Bahamondes camp. Ignacio Bahamondes, Chilean, very popular in the world of mixed martial arts. Also sparred with him as well. Did not go well for me, Max, but...
well, if you're 4 pounds underweight, you're probably... Oh, there's an armbar attempt by Berumen. He's got it trapped in.
He may have it, Max. He may
What
have
a bizarre.
it.
He tries to react and transition, but he's got into deeper water.
He needs to switch.
He's trying to hold the wrist.
There we go.
Berumen, and
Pull that
how
arm out.
about this? Incredible
Great
wherewithal.
stuff. You have to pull that arm out right now. Good stuff and pushing out.
Valdebenito, absolutely fantastic in saving what appeared to be an unsavable situation.
That's training at the Bahamondes camp. Ignacio Bahamondes.
That had to hurt. That arm was stretched out. You had to feel the threshold, but he kept going.
That's that flexibility in those arms, though, Max. If you have that flexibility,
these kids,
you're able
19.
to do it. That too. that helps a lot. Not a lot of wear and tear in those rotator cuffs and those shoulders.
Falling now into the guard of Berumen, who must have felt like this fight was over.
You know, flexibility is such an important part as a fighter, and fight could just duplicate it as something else. If you're like weightlifting, I don't know if you see the famous movie, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, where that big ballet class is
Pumping iron?
Pumping iron. So same thing with MMA. You know, you gotta do yoga, you gotta do flexibility and stretches.
Triangle!
To get yourself out of these positions, although the Chilean is in deep waters here with that triangle choke.
Berumen is throwing the kitchen sink, and now
he
got
has
the
it
leg
locked in.
hemmed in as well. Tap!
Very good. Yeah, he had it trapped in very well.
Valdebenito taps out. He was 2-0. He is unbeaten no more. The first professional victory for Berumen, and he earned it.
Hey, but nothing to take away from Valdebenito, that youngster. Great transition from that armbar. Let's give it to him.
Berumen, who trains with Pro Athletes MMA. He's just 22. The only problem is his opponent was younger, so we talk about the 19-year-old, but 22 is still in diapers in this business.
Great stuff here, positioning himself, wrapping himself. Very difficult for the Chilean to get out. Berumen just played it out so well. Locking in that submission, making it very difficult.
The golden boy of MMA in Chile has to go back to the drawing board. This is obviously a tough pill to swallow, but a lot of lessons in there on what to avoid.
Wow. But just 19 years old. I mean, this guy has a long career ahead of himself.
There's a lot of ups and downs, as you know, in the mixed martial arts. But he got out of the armbar, and then he fell into the triangle. What? I mean, there was a lot in that.
A lot of back and forth.
But it was a lot in that actual submission. I mean, it was a triangle up top. He had
right,
the arm stretched out.
He had that.
Darse por vencido con un tiempo oficial de 3 minutos 15 segundos del primer episodio. The red corner sinks in the triangle choke, obligating his opponent to tap with an official time of 3 minutes 15 seconds of the opening round. El vencedor por sumisión, your winner by way of submission. Puro Juaritos. El Destroyer. Emmanuel Berumen.
Puro Juaritos, Ciudad Juárez representing.
Yeah, as I was saying with that submission, Max, you're right. He had lots of opportunities that were made it very difficult for the youngster from Chile. He had that leg wrapped around right near the arm, making it completely difficult, really, to get out of that position. Take a look at the highlights here. Mexican just pushing forward right from the top. So you can see the transition. It seemed like he was going for a rear naked choke. Then he transitioned, looked for the arm bar. But look at just the flexibility, the transition from Valdebenito. And the Berumen just consistent, pushing on, knowing that, hey, I'm going to take this victory. Look how he wraps around the legs. He's going to find that shot right here. See that arm, how he hooked it? He couldn't get out. He was just stuck in a puzzle.
Trapped.
He was just right there, like a Venus flytrap. Couldn't get out of this position. Great victory for Berumen, making his debut inside the house.
First round submission for Berumen. Arm raised there in the middle of the house, and great moment for him and Valdebenito. We talked a lot about these Chilean MMA and how you can come in and it's growing, but there's going to be some growing pains. And at 19, certainly lesson learned in that case.
Lots of young blood here in Combate Global.
Look back at what we saw this evening. Justin Slick J. Vazquez, without question, the story. And that's saying a lot, because a lot happened here. Taking on Jair Perez, had a great first round. He was able to keep the tempo going and get a unanimous decision.
Great work from Vazquez. Didn't check the kicks. Still gonna go back at that. That was his only mistake in this fight. He needs to make cautious to check those kicks. But Perez, he tried to fight the same stuff that he did against Landry Ward, pushing the pace, being the aggressor from the start. But Vazquez was just very patient, frustrating Perez, forcing him to come in where he was just lay in the hands. Desperate measures calls for desperate times, or desperate times have desperate measures, as Perez tried to go in for the wrestling, but just wasn't enough, question mark. He was looking for that highlight reel, Max, just didn't came out that way. Either way, right now there's no doubt in my mind that Vazquez has to be in that top 10 of his division, respectively.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. He'll be there. How high? Does he get up as high as 3? That's the man he just beat, was number 3. Freedom fighters inside the jaula. Enjoying the moment with their guy. And the stats, not that telling, but Vazquez obviously did enough in each round. Great in the first round, good enough in rounds 2 and 3 as Jair Perez tried to make a comeback, but it was too little too late. Slick J You digging that Chicago Bulls?
Yeah. Has to go to the.
They made a different bull.
Yeah, well, go to the Michael Jordan
El
era,
Rey de
right?
los Toros. Next week, much more great action. Sebastian Santana, Jimmy Sandlin back inside La Jaula.
Sandstorm.
Sandstorm Sandlin. Will he still have the beard, the long hair, or will he look like he did for this PR photo? We shall see.
Should be a good fight. Sandlin with those good heavy hands. Santana as well will follow through. But Sandlin here has the advantage with the wrestling. That's his going to be his advantage going into this fight. Last time we saw Santana was against Buas.
Buas, so finding the best in that class. He looks to get back on the winning track at the expense of the Sandstorm. Combate Global, another Friday night for all you to enjoy. We'll be back again next Friday. And check us out as we get into the fall, which doesn't make a difference in Miami. It's hot all year round.
What do you mean? We have pumpkin spice in Miami.
Sure, gonna bring your heavy coat for October and September, I'm sure.
We have pumpkin patches here.
I know that. Kids want the pumpkin. Michael Reyes, #1 flyweight. He's going to stay there, looking pretty clean at the end. And we are out of time. It's been a pleasure to be part of your Friday every night. On behalf of Artie Izquierdo, Rodolfo Roman, we want to say a special thanks to Victor Bagué, the guy who's taken us through here. We're going to miss him greatly. Been first class. My name is Max Bretos. On behalf of all of our crew, Placido Domingo.